Italian Benoni Trap. The Italian Benoni Trap, as the name suggests, comes from the Italian. However, the way it is reached is completely unnatural but at the same time interesting. It begins by white going for a normal c3 Italian. However, once black delivers the natural bishop check, we do not block it with a piece like a little bit. We move the king like a boss. If black tries to act oh so smart and develop the g8 knight to, let's say f6, we hit him with the devastating d5. Once black moves the c6 knight, we fork the king and the bishop with queen to a4 check, winning a piece and laughing at black's face for losing so quickly. Noah's Ark Trap. The Noah's Ark Trap is when, from a seemingly chill position, a sudden pawn avalanche starts and it traps a minor piece in a flank. Look at this position. Here white thinks he has the initiative as he is first to break the center. However, he couldn't be more wrong, as after we exchange everything on d4, if white recaptures the pawn with the queen, the trap is activated. First we gain a tempo with c5, and once white moves the queen, c4 comes and the b3 bishop is dead. Fishing pole trap. The fishing pole trap is honestly one of the most aggressive traps. It starts by reaching a Ruy Lopez. Afterwards black starts tweaking and sends his knight to attack the white king. Once white tries to kick the knight out with the pawn, the knight says "F you" and stands there on business. If white calls the bluff and takes the knight, we recapture with the pawn, and suddenly white's position is on fire. If white tries to save the knight, we deploy our queen to the front lines, and there is absolutely no way for white to stop checkmate. England Gambit Trap. The England Gambit Trap is a trademark of the England Gambit. It simply baits white into overextending as to defend the e5 pawn. After white takes the bait by playing bishop f4, we take advantage of its now undefended position and play queen to b4 check, forking the bishop and the king. After the bishop goes back to d2, we take the b2 pawn with a nice attack. Also, if white tries to act all smart by defending the a1 rook with bishop to c3, we play the amazing bishop to b4, and no matter what white does, he is lost. Lasker Trap. The Lasker Trap is an absolute shit show. It is rare to underpromote in a real middle game, much less in an opening, and yet this trap achieves it. In fact, it is a core component. It starts by playing the Alban counter gambit. If white blocks with the bishop, the trap begins. We do not take the bishop, nor do we retreat our own. Rather, we take the e3 pawn, giving the bishop away. After white takes the b4 bishop, the party starts. We first take the f2 pawn, forcing white to move the king to e2. After that we take the g1 knight and promote not to a queen, but to a knight. If white takes the knight, the bishop comes into play, and the d1 queen is dead. Legal's Trap. Legal's Trap is an incredible way to end a game in style. It starts by achieving a normal Italian position. However, after white plays h3, if black slides back the bishop to h5, retaining the pin, we sacrifice our knight and queen with knight to e5. After black takes our queen, we swiftly checkmate black's king. Cambridge Springs Trap. The Cambridge Springs Trap is a way for black to bait and deceive white into losing the game on the spot. It starts by reaching a normal Nimzo Indian. However, instead of playing a normal c6, we instead give away the d5 pawn by playing knight to d7. If white takes it, all hell breaks loose, and we end up winning the game by force. Siberian Trap. Have you ever felt like you are always on the defensive against the Smith-Morra gambit and you just have to suffer until white makes a mistake? Well, this trap absolutely changes things, turning white into the one who should be afraid. It starts by reaching a Smith-Morra. Here, instead of playing a calm developing move like bishop to e7, we throw everything we have at white with knight g4. If white panics and plays h3, then we win the game with the incredible knight to d4, sacrificing our knight. If white takes it, we deliver mate on h2. Otherwise we take the knight on f3, and still mate on h2. Fajarovich Gambit. The Fajarovich Gambit is an interesting trap in the Budapest Gambit. In this line, we sacrifice pawns in order to achieve superior development and claim aggressive squares for our pieces. If white decides to play it cool by fianchettoing the bishop, the game is lost due to the incredible knight to f2. After white takes the knight with the king, we deliver a discovered check sacrifice with bishop to g3, winning the queen. Blackb Burn Shilling Trap. Have you ever mated your opponent in 7 moves? Well, with this trap you can. This trap happens in the normal Italian. However, instead of playing in a principled manner, black tries to go in for the kill with knight to d4. After white takes the e5 pawn, the queen comes into play. If white gets greedy, then the final sequence commences and white loses the game. Dragon Trap. This is not really its name, rather it's a trap in the Dragon Sicilian. It starts by reaching a normal early game Dragon Sicilian. Here as you can see black played an early d6 in order to punish white's eventual bishop to e3 with knight to g4, and that is why we play bishop to e3 anyway, dangling the bait in front of black's face. After black nonchalantly plays knight to g4, we hit him with bishop to b5 check. Black says so what? I will just block the check with my bishop, big deal. Well, joke's on him, we just take the damn knight as our queen can't be taken due to the pin, ending the combination and the game. Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. The intercontinental ballistic missile is simply that, no other words needed. From the back of the board you send a huge missile that destroys anything in its path. It starts by sacrificing a pawn for simple development. Here black plays the natural knight to f6, thinking all is good, not expecting us to play our next move, e5. After black takes the pawn, we sacrifice our bishop on f7. After black recaptures with the king, we send the missile over to d8, winning the queen. Legal's trap in the Scotch. Remember the legal's trap in the Italian? Well, here it is the same thing but in the Scotch. It starts by sacrificing a pawn in the opening for development. After black pins the g4 knight we simply castle. If black decides to increase the pressure with the knight, the trap is sprung. Like last time we take on e5, sacrificing our queen, and once black takes it, we mate black in an incredible manner. From's Gambit Trap. The From's Gambit Trap is an aggressive and perhaps dumb-looking, yet effective trap in the From's Gambit. It starts by sacrificing a pawn earlier on against the bird. Afterwards we launch our g-pawn forward, hoping to reach g4 and force the f3 knight to move. If white tries to prevent that with g3, we very calmly and happily slide our bishop over to g3 with a very devious checkmate. Grand Prix Trap. This trap is a trap that if you set it and your opponent doesn't fall for it, your position does not suffer that much, so it's perfect to use it against a low-rated opponent. It starts by reaching a normal Grand Prix position. However, in this position instead of defending the e4 pawn, we set the trap with c3. If black takes the pawn, we play queen to a4 check, winning the knight and the game.